The entire team at Emsolation want to acknowledge that we are gathered on the traditional lands of the Wurundjeri people. We want to recognise that we are recording and telling our stories on the stolen land of our country's first storytellers. We wish to pay our respects to all Wurundjeri elders and ancestors, and to extend that respect to any First Nations peoples who listen to Emsolation. We recognise Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples' continued connection to the land and waters of this country, and acknowledge that sovereignty was never ceded. Always was, always will be.
M. Rusciano.
And if there's a poncho, a boomer and a white wine, you know there's going to be some sliding later on.
And Michael Lucas.
She's like, I'm a powerful, confident woman, but sometimes I just want ham.
This is Emsolation.
Think about it as a thirsty, middle-aged woman watching it.
Okay, yeah, maybe that's my problem.
You're in Emsolation.
Well, how are you? Thank you for being here on this Thursday or whenever you're choosing to listen. This week on the pod, you're getting a Taylor Swift movie concert review that goes for approximately 57 hours. Then a Chaka Khan live review from me that also goes for 57 hours. We talk about John Hamm's sexy cameo on The Morning Wars with Jennifer Aniston. Michael and I have very differing opinions. I just want to let you know there's a lot of heterophobia going on today. I'll tell you right now. We also briefly touch on Britney's autobiography. Look, I'm still waiting for it to download, I'll be honest. I keep refreshing my Audible. My Audible app's like, all right, bitch, you've barely touched us for 12 months. Leave us alone. She's not there yet. I'm still waiting. So unfortunately, I'm so sorry. There'll be no live readings from me / Britney today. But next week, oh my goodness, I'll have read it twice. I'll have listened to it. I'll be in and around it. I'll probably have it memorised. Don't hold me to that. But that will be next week. But there's so much here today for you to enjoy. So much Taylor Swift action. We have our very own resident Swiftie, James, my videographer. We turned his microphone on. And Michael offended him quite a few times, I just want to say. I just think, to Michael this week, I say, you in danger, girl, because I think he might have crossed the line a few times with some of you twisties, some of you Swifties. I don't feel like I've not earned Swiftie status. I say this as I sit here in a Travis Kelce Eras Tour T-shirt. Even then, I don't think I've earned Swiftie status. I'm a Taylor Swift enthusiast. I'll put it that way. All right, that's enough from me because you've got a big old chunk to get through now. I hope you're well. Looking forward to seeing you all at the live show on December 3. Grab your tickets. There's still some available. Please come along. It's going to be a great time. Remember, you can come on your own. All right, I'm shutting up now. Play the music. Emsolators, you're only a what if away from creating the perfect holiday. And right now, Emsolation listeners can get 10% off selected hotels. Go to whatif.com/listen for details. What if? It's Aussie for travel.
M. Rusciano and Michael Lucas. This is Emsolation.
Michael Lucas, welcome. Wow, Saturday night, every boomer in Melbourne descended upon the city centre, the Olympic Boulevard. Paul McCartney was playing as well on Saturday night, as was Chic, Nile Rodgers and Lady Chaka Khan. So I picked my dad up, the girls and I, and we drove in, and just even getting a park because every boomer drove in. You should have seen all the mini minors, all the midlife crisis cars are amazing. All the mini cars, the Mustangs, the new Mustangs, a lot of those.
Okay, yeah.
And as we got, my dad's a lucky parker, so there was no car parks. He's like, drive to the front and then work your way back on the lucky parker. I'm like, okay. So we drive right to the front of the bowl, and sure enough, as we get there, a car is pulling out of the car park. So I indicate, and we're waiting, and then another car's coming towards us, and they start indicating.
Oh, no.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, to be fair, we were on a solid line, so I probably should not have been trying to turn into this car park. But you had the three biggest hotheads in the world. Yeah, my daughter, Marcella, is a road.
Is she a hothead? Is she?
She grew up with me. I grew up with my dad in the car, and then there was me. So three of us yell.
Oh.
So my dad winds the window down and sticks his tiny hairy arm out and just yells no at this Porsche four-wheel drive. Of course it was a Porsche four-wheel drive trying to pull into our park. And we'd been there 10 seconds before them. But they weren't even on the road.
It wasn't a close call.
No, there was but they were like, well, you're on the wrong side of the road, whatever.
Yeah.
So I pull my car in front. We are in a nose-to-nose with a Porsche and my husband's shitty Subaru. And I looked at this Porsche driver like, I'm not afraid to damage this car. Are you? So they stopped and I ducked in and they just kept the car there, just like menacing us in.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Dad, we might have to throw down. And my dad was ready. He had his BMW silver good jacket on. He had his good hat on. He was fine. He doesn't care. And Odie, of course, is always ready for a rumble because she's 6'9". So the girls and I are all squaring up, ready to get out. And then as we open the doors, the people who were driving the Porsche saw us and must have thought they look like a hectic street gang.
Drove away.
So they just drove away.
Oh.
I'm sure they didn't see a little old man and three women and think, nah, not worth it. No.
You were intimidating.
We were intimidating in our
sure
sequence. You should have seen us. I had cowgirl boots on. Could have gone anywhere. I could have been packing. Who knows? So we walked into the bowl and became
Beautiful night, wasn't it?
Stunning night.
Stunning.
I want to talk about the audience. It was actually a mix of fabulous gay men, some kind of north side hipstery, cool jazz 30-somethings, and just boomers, drunk boomers. There were women there in disco helmets. So a disco ball had been cut out to look like a bike helmet, like a stack hat. Disco ball stack hats.
Intriguing.
They were running around in that. Lots of
glamorous but safe.
Ponchos as well, because there had been a little bit of rain. And if there's a poncho, a boomer, and a white wine, you know there's going to be some sliding later on.
Wow.
I'll tell you right now. And from the moment we got there, before Chic even came on, they had a playlist on. It was like Gold 104 playlist. It was amazing. It was like over 49s dressed to impress no denim nightclub. So they were all there, and there was a middle-aged mosh pit at the front.
Love that.
And they were there all like dancing, lots of berets, lots of neck scarves, you know. It was amazing. And so Dad and I and the girls are sitting down just crowd watching. It was incredible. And there was so many drunk 50 to 60-year-old humans. And it's a different kind of atmosphere.
Yeah.
It was whatever the opposite of aggression is.
Okay.
No aggression.
Okay, just joy.
Joy.
Yeah.
Happy to be here amongst my people. No
were
one judge
Were
me.
they getting out their iPads to take a selfie?
So many iPads. So many iPads being held up, but very far away from there. And the good thing about this crowd is they had to sit every 5 minutes. So it wasn't a stand for the whole thing. You could see their legs get a bit tired and they would sit down. And so Nile Rodgers came on. Amazing.
How you guys doing back there?
What a set. I know. I was just loving it. I did not realise that he was going to go on to play songs that he had produced. I mean, Like a Virgin was played.
Material
Cuff
Girl.
It.
Cuff It. My dad's favourite song was Cuff It. He goes,
Really?
Cuff It was the best one. Yeah, it was and Niall is a consummate professional.
Amazing.
He knows how to talk. He's like, I won the Grammy for this, and then, this next artist I've been watching since she was a teenager, and now she's just, global domination. And I'm going, Dad's Cuff It, Cuff It, Cuff It. And he's like, and I wrote this song with Beyonce. I'm like, just Beyonce, just dropping Beyonce. So he plays Cuff It, so great. Madonna, all the Daft Punk stuff. It was really good. It was hit after. It was all number ones, right? The crowd would peak, fever pitch. It was so great. So much dancing, so much there was so much marijuana in the air. The jazz cigarettes, hectic.
You look like you were positioned in an excellent spot because you were close, but you weren't in the standing area.
Yeah, we were one section back from the standing area, and I sold my soul for those tickets. Don't you worry about that.
Yeah, I bet.
And then it was time. So they take all of Nile Rodgers' band stuff off, and my dad's very carefully watching the instruments they bring out because he could pick which band member Chaka was bringing by because he loves Chaka. He studies all her YouTube videos. And so they bring out an amazing percussion set. They bring out the tom-tom drums. They bring out this huge keyboard. It was the whole thing. It's like, she's got the full band. Dad was getting pumped. So they come out. They announce Chaka, and she walks out on stage. Well, she shimmies out. Imagine a toddler who's being made to do something they don't want to do, but they're totally fabulous. So Chaka kind of waddles out onto stage with her hands kind of floppy. She's like, "Hi, y'all." She talks like Minnie Mouse.
Really?
She has the teensiest, tiniest little voice, and she's a small, small person. And so Chaka then proceeds to open with 4 new songs.
What a way to kill the vibe.
4 songs.
Yeah.
Doesn't really acknowledge the crowd. Says she's happy to be in Sydney.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah.
Good for her.
Did she ever say Melbourne
No.
or Melbourne?
Nah.
Oh.
And even resorted to, how you doing, Australia? Just a general country.
Yeah.
She got the country right.
Yeah, that's good.
And then,
How you doing, Southern Hemisphere?
how you doing, not America? So then she goes over to her backing singers, okay? And she starts introducing them, except she doesn't know their names. And she then it has to admit, I'm sorry, what's your name? What's your name again? The girl she asked her 3 times.
And can we just confirm that these are people that are on tour with her? They're not locals that have been.
No, they were flown with Chaka.
Great.
They are Chaka's backing singer. My dad knew them all from previous YouTube videos.
Wow.
Yeah. And so then all of a sudden, they finish singing. She finally on the 6th song gets to Tell Me Something Good, which everyone knew.
Yeah.
And then after that, they bring the tom-tom drums out for her. She smacks them twice. The mic isn't turned on. She throws the drumsticks at the drummer and then says something to the backing singer whose name she's forgotten, then walked off stage.
Of course.
Doesn't address the audience at all. So then the band is sitting there going, So then they start kind of playing. Then all the lights come up. Then it just takes on a sound check quality.
Yeah.
I don't think she needed a sound check. I feel like this is a sound check they needed to have but didn't have.
Yeah, yeah.
So Shaka's gone, she's gone, she's gone. Everyone's looking around going, oh my
Is that
God,
it?
is that it?
Yeah, you were
I was-
texting me. It's going, I'm worried. She's left the stage.
panicked.
Also, critically, she had not pulled out the big hits at this stage. So
None.
you were staring down the barrel of, I've come all this way,
Yep.
I paid it, and I might not hear
Yep.
the songs I want to hear.
About 10 minutes later, she wanders back out. Nobody knew where she was or when she was coming.
Different outfit?
Different outfit, different pants.
Okay.
She had some glittery pants on this
Okay.
time. Then she proceeded to do some acoustic numbers, but the sound, her mic just wasn't turned on through front of house. You just couldn't hear her.
Right.
The sound was the worst sound I've ever experienced at a concert in my life.
Wow.
And my dad was dying a quiet death.
But was it bad for Nile Rodgers?
No, perfect.
Oh,
Because Nile Rodgers, he would have done a
yeah.
sound check. He's
Of
a
course,
producer.
Producer, yes, of course.
I think Chaka rolled in off the plane and they just put her on stage.
Yep.
So she did an acoustic set no one could hear.
Yep.
And then finally, I'm Every Woman Strikes Up.
Thank
Oh,
God. The
God.
relief. It would have been electrifying in the crowd.
It was, except she didn't really sing a lot of it.
She just did the...
She did a lot of, well, got it. That's
Okay.
that, which was great. It's great.
Okay.
Look, I'm just here to say, if anyone's thinking I am casting any
No,
sort
it's respect.
Good for her.
that bitch is 74.
That's right. She's
She
here.
looks amazing. Not that it matters, except that it does, but it doesn't. But she
Yeah.
looks great. Her voice is still fucking A+, 10 out of 10. And she can sing whenever she wants. As far as
That's
I'm concerned.
right.
Like, I don't even care. So she does Every Woman. She does the Prince Stevie Wonder, I Feel For You.
Oh, yes.
She sings most of that. Great.
Yeah, most of it. Yeah.
And then it's time.
Ain't nobody.
Except the keyboard wasn't turned on. Couldn't hear the keys player.
You're
at
kidding
all.
me.
No, you could hear bass, you could hear drums. That was it. So I'm going, oh my God. And then she misses the start cue
Okay.
3 times.
Wow.
3 times. I'm watching the band panic. And so, like, it goes, dun, 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 and then caption. Nah, she's not going now. She's kept talking. Thank you so much for having me. Have y'all had a good time? Dun, dun, so, nah, she's not starting. Backing singers back off again. No one knew when she was going to start. I don't think and then Chaka just starts singing. Wasn't the right time.
Wow.
Amazing. But she did it. I was electrified.
Did it sound good?
She finished half an hour early. I mean, we love that.
Good for her.
I think we should also say this particular song, Ain't Nobody, I think if a gun was at your head saying, what is your favourite song, it would be it.
Yeah.
Em sang this at our wedding, my
Yeah.
wedding, as I was walking down the aisle.
Yeah, I did. It's
Yeah.
my favourite song. It is. And I mean, obviously, there's so many songs I love, but... And it's
It's
the
got
one,
it all.
It's the one that if somebody walked up to me, like Max Markson walked up to me and said, right now, you have to come and make a song. You have to know it word perfect, note perfect. You have to be ready to record it in 30 seconds and I will make this album with you. What's your song? Oh, that's Chic and Chaka Khan, Ain't Nobody, sir. Like,
I love it that you live in a constant state
Totally.
of preparedness.
I am. I'm on
of
the
what
start line.
happens if the world's greatest producer comes to you and says,
Totally.
we're recording right now, you're on.
Yeah, if somebody walked up to me in the street and said, right, your life depends on this one song. I'd be like, captured effortlessly. I could do it.
You could have been in labour with Elio.
Yeah,
Get
I
him in
could
the
do it.
mic.
Like, and if Chaka had said, is Em Rusciano here? I can't go on. Yes, Chaka. Could have done it. Well, I
Wow.
bloody well. I had to count her in. And I had to
Sounds like you should have offered during I'm Every Woman.
The audience was singing the wrong words. They tried to rush her
that
out
would
of
have shat you.
because there's a double first verse, and people always forget that. Not real fans.
Yeah.
So no, she finished half an hour early. Fantastic, great. We were home. She was supposed to finish.
Her and Niall ever perform together?
No. God no. She came on at 8:15. She was off at a nice 9:40. It was meant to be 8 till 10:30.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
nah, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah,
It's fine. Good for her.
Good for
so
her.
So then she sings Ain't Nobody, and then she puts the mic down and just
Wanders off. Yeah. Okay.
That's it.
Yeah. All
Show's
right.
over.
No bows? No.
Nah.
Okay.
because she
No encores?
didn't know the fucking band's name.
Oh, of course.
But you know, in that last bit, you do the kind of Ain't Nobody was the kind of encore. I think she left the stage for
Okay.
30 seconds,
All right.
did a lap around the back. I
Of
feel-
course.
I feel for you. So it was. I mean, it was terrible, but it was great.
Good for her.
And then I was listening to her as we were walking out with these boomers bag her, and this guy, this white guy, goes, "Oh, she wasn't very funky." I'm like,
Oh,
first of all, sir,
Pot, kettle, black.
dude, who uses the word funky in 2023 with your skin color? No. And I'm like, I'm saying really loudly to my dad, well, people who know Chaka know that she's on her own planet. She does what she wants. She's on Chaka time. And if anyone's ever watched her with Prince, people will know why, that they were kindred spirits and soulmates, because they did whatever they wanted. And Dad, because my dad watches her every day online. Like he watches everything my dad has consumed. Chaka Khan and the Trump
he's
regime.
your dad's Beyonce.
Yeah.
He's the Trump regime. What a combination.
Nah, sometimes he just falls into the algorithm of a bit of right wing, and I drag him back out. Shaka drags him. That's fine. He's good. He's good. Anyway, so yeah, Dad and I were defending her from all the foul boomers as we were walking out.
Yeah.
And then Dad had a lot to say about the sound quality and lack thereof as we drove out. But that was my experience at Chaka Khan's. Chaka Khan.
Good for her.
Okay, go.
Yeah. My crowd, different.
So what did you go along and see?
I went to see Taylor Swift's Eras tour.
Good for her.
Made me realise it's going to be, I think, a very different experience when the Renaissance tour movie comes out, because this was dominated by kids. Like, to be honest, it could have almost been the Wiggles. Like,
But that's because, remember, the mums are all in their 30s and we're like peak Taylor Swift fans. So they're giving Taylor to their daughters.
Do you think it will be the same with Beyonce, though?
No.
No.
Yeah.
Well, it was pretty obvious to see what the big hitters were. I mean, Shake It Off. Because actually we were at a crowd where people weren't dancing in the seats as I had imagined.
Oh, okay.
But it hit a certain threshold, and the threshold was when she started doing the 1989 set.
Yeah.
And basically half the audience just ran to the front of the cinema and it turned into a big dance movie, and they were jumping up and down and singing at the top of their lungs. But I'm sure people don't need to be told what the concept of the show is, but I'm going to do it anyway. She basically, it's called the Eras Tour, and it's very organised. She basically
love that.
does a set for each album. Like the title comes up, this is that she begins with Lover. She doesn't do it chronologically, interestingly.
Oh.
I thought we might do a bit of a chronological tour through the career.
My autistic brain wants chronologically.
Mine too, not that it's autistic, but anyway, let's not get into that now. But
Yes.
I would have seen the appeal for that too.
Yes.
But having said that, I think she played it right, because there was a certain thrill in not knowing what's the next album going to be. And also it meant, because let's face it, you've got Folklore and Evermore, and I know they were different albums, but I'm just going to say it was
Michael's
a part one and part two.
currently looking to James,
I am.
our
I'm worried that
videographer,
I'm
who is
offending
a
his religion.
bona fide Swiftie.
But do you think
Total.
they're very similar vibe albums? I think it's fair to say. They're called sister albums. Thank
They're
you.
called sister albums.
Officially,
James,
we've
have
had
a
that
mic. I feel like James needs a mic in this segment.
sanctioned.
Can we get James a mic? Is that turned on?
You can correct me when I'm going wrong.
Okay. Is it on? Hello, James. Swiftie James.
Hello.
He has to sit through. I have to tell you, this man is not paid enough to sit through us fumble through Taylor Swift facts week after week. And I know he sits there going, fucking hell.
Yeah.
So now's your time.
It's Errors.
Oh, not eras. Eras.
Now, remember I said
Oh, Eros.
Eras. She's announced the Eras. It's hashtag ERAS tour. We're bad geriatric Swifties, senior Swifties. I'm sure that's an acronym for something.
Eros. Is it some sort of a? Is it, or is it something that happens with stars and the moon?
Can you live Google? So there was a week of planning. Do you know James? James knows.
It's Errors.
Eras.
Eras.
What
Like her different eras.
Oh my God.
Eras. Oh my God. But yeah.
So
Anyway, genius idea.
yeah.
Intensely long though, because she's
James,
released.
have you seen the movie?
I saw it opening night.
Okay, why are we talking to you? So, okay, and were you dressed up?
Sort of, yes. I was very, not glittery, but like bright.
Okay, and how did you feel? Did you enjoy opening night? Did you enjoy the movie?
I'm a huge fan of the Reputation concert, the movie on Netflix,
Yeah.
but the Eras was fantastic.
Yeah.
And It was 3 hours well spent. It was fantastic.
It
loved
is
it?
3 hours, and this is, we
Okay,
should say,
tell me.
cut down. She has cut down some songs,
Okay.
but it's still close to 3 hours.
Okay.
So,
You were talking about the sister albums.
yeah, so I think it was good to mix it up because it meant that you could change vibes. And I think we can all say, and I hope I'm not offending the Swifties, now I know
Well,
who
you've
I'm
got one
looking at.
here. Yeah. Okay. He's listening.
I'm just going to put it out there and say 1989 is probably the most globally popular album. Is it fair to say that? Or certainly the one that has the biggest number of party songs on it.
Yeah, I think that album might be her most best-selling.
Yeah, it
Yes,
is.
I believe so.
The 3 songs I'm doing at the
Are
Taylor
from that
Swift-
one.
Yeah.
So she definitely held that to a key point. It was sort of in the last third of the concert.
Smart.
And it was an absolute explosion when she started. I think she began with Blank Space. That was an explosive moment. It is, my husband just, I would say, I would almost say that there might be a value in them releasing a version of it that's just ears for the casual fan. Because I could have, if I'm honest, done it in an hour and a half.
right.
My husband, interestingly, only knew the ones that she did with Max Martin, effectively. So he knew We're Never Getting Back Together. I know.
Hi, gay.
I know. Like he was just like, what's this witchy one? I don't remember this. And that was the Evermore era because she was wearing capes and going with orbs. It was a bit
I-
Twilight.
Love Taylor's witchy era.
Do you?
Yeah,
of course you
I do.
do. It had a scented candle vibe
Like she could
about
move
it.
to Warren Diet and
It was very Warren
Yeah,
Diet.
I like that era.
Yeah, it was it was a completely straight up and down document of the performance. They did sometimes add some digital effects, like for example, when Reputation came on, they had digital snakes that flew out. I actually felt unnecessary. I don't know why they
James,
needed
did you
that.
like the digital snakes?
I did. I love the Digital Snakes. Reputation is my favorite album. I think that was when they were changing between the albums, the eras.
Yes.
They sort of had to put a graphic to sort of show people what album they were moving to.
Yeah.
And I think the Snakes are iconic for that album.
The snakes were great.
Well, I mean, you said
Yeah.
unnecessary. Swiftie says iconic.
No, I liked the snakes were. I liked the snakes that were on the screens. It was just that they added digital snakes on. Anyway, look,
Okay.
fine.
Now, you had a question for James as to why she didn't do Taylor Swift.
This was intriguing.
Okay.
So out of all of her albums, everyone gets a dedicated section, but one album, her first, in fact, did not. However, I should just say there is an acoustic bit in the middle of it where she sings different songs every single night, and she did sing a song from Taylor Swift. She sang one song from Taylor Swift and one song from Midnight, her most recent album, on that. But how did you feel about the exclusion of
Why?
Taylor Swift
What's
as an
your
album
theory?
from the concert?
I must clarify, my Swiftie era began with Red.
Didn't they all?
Yeah, so I kind of feel, and I kind of feel like her first album, it was a bit too premature. It was very country, and I feel like it just didn't have room to be on this massive global tour, and I don't think people are minding it.
Oh, look.
Oh, no, but you also had a theory about her and her name. What did you say to us?
Because she's re-releasing all of the albums that were pre-Lover,
Yes.
because they're underneath some company that she does not have ownership of
Scooter
her own.
Braun.
Scooter
Yeah.
Braun. Yeah.
I think it's been sold off now.
Oh, no, it has,
I
of
think
course.
when you look at it, I think Disney actually owns it.
Oh.
A company owned by Disney. Yeah, but she's releasing them in a specific order, and she loves, with her fans, she loves releasing breadcrumbs, little Easter eggs. And I do believe there was a statement where she made some convoluted sort of like hidden message where she sort of said along the lines of, he took my date, he took my reputation, and he took my name, or she's planning on taking them back. And they are direct links to the 1989 album Reputation, and then Taylor Swift being her name.
I mean, helps having a Swiftie on staff.
It does. Look, it was really beautiful to see all the kids really getting up and
Yeah.
dancing. They loved it.
I felt the same way about the old people.
We unusually,
Similar.
yeah, very similar. We went in and said, you know what, I think we're going to need an actual bottle of wine to get through. So we bought a bottle of wine, and all I'll say is we were out by Reputation. So we needed to go out and top up. So Adrian also, I was so shocked at his lack of Taylor knowledge. Like it was, I don't understand how you've been in Western civilization.
Well, married to you.
You know what? You know what always was my low point with Taylor?
Well, for a non-Swiftie, we've been going.
I know, my
15
low
minutes.
point, I know, sorry. My low point was
Sorry, everyone.
she released Reputation, the aggressive snaky album, which I quite enjoyed.
Aggressive Snakey.
Yeah,
Wait, is
but-
that the one that she supposedly was throwing shade at Katy Perry the whole album?
No, that was Bad Blood, which was on 1989. Look, I am a Swiftie.
And what was that one Kanye?
no, it was Kanye because Kim had done
That's
Emoji
right.
Snake about her.
I don't like your tilted stage.
Yes.
And Kanye had a tilted stage. I'm not a Swiftie either.
But she obviously felt like I need to pivot and go back to a Shake It Off style pop. And so she had that song Me. That was the lead single of Lover, and she didn't perform it. So even though it was like, I think, a big hit, and so I took that as validation of, yes, she never liked that one either.
Really?
I think fans didn't get vibe with it, and I think it got critically panned a little bit.
I was happy to see that gone. My final comments,
God, we're
completely
still
done. You have to pay credit to the fact that she goes pretty hard for her. As people will talk a lot about how she is perhaps not a natural dancer.
Here we go. This is fucking...
No.
We thought this was
she's
gonna
not
be-
like a dancer like Beyonce's a dancer or anything like that.
She's
but
like you.
just as a physical achievement, my God, she is on stage for a really long time, and the voice holds the entire time. I did notice there was one song that she choreographed literally lying on her back, and I respected it because she would have needed a rest. But man, she has to keep herself healthy to get through that, and it was remarkable.
She's a mezzo soprano, so like she sings up in her range quite often. She doesn't go really, really high like Beyonce, and she doesn't do runs, but her songs sit quite up there. So it would be taking a toll on her voice box. She's not a singer.
No.
And don't come for me, Swifties.
No.
She's a musician. She's a songwriter. James?
No, I totally agree.
Some would say
Thank you.
greatest living American songwriter.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
I mean, I'm not saying that. James is though.
I feel like some Bruce Springsteen fans, some Neil Diamond, some, I don't know.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Though, when you did leave to go and get some top-ups, what song did you decide to leave on?
This will be controversial. I'm really worried.
Shit. I feel like I should leave the room.
No. Okay.
Because I left on one song in
Yeah, me
particular.
too.
Okay.
Okay, say it. 3. 1, 2, 3.
All too well. Okay.
You left an all too
my God.
well.
It's 10 minutes.
Of
I know.
magic.
I know. Look, she comes on and she's like going, and she
Isn't
says,
that the equivalent of leaving it like crazy in love?
nah, not for me. I like All Too Well, but I don't need the full 10 minutes. I just don't need it. And I knew that like it was an acoustic performance, and I knew nothing was going to change. And also the theatre was playing the soundtrack in the foyer. So even though I left the theatre, I
Never
could
left.
still hear
Never
her
left.
singing it. And I felt like
It's like being at a concert.
yeah, I knew exactly what she was doing. So that's why I chose to leave at that particular time. You left it enchanted?
Enchanted because it was Speak Now and it was pre-read, so not quite familiar. I was like,
All right.
perfect time.
So out of 10, what are you giving it? Can hear Ben frantically typing away in the background?
Look,
If you didn't have to fear for your life, what would you give it? If you're not a Swiftie, what would you give? If you were Adrian, what would you have given it?
he would have probably given it a 6.5.
And what are you giving it as a not a Swiftie, but actually a Swiftie?
I'm giving it I'm giving it a solid 7 or 8. I mean, I feel like I'm more dazzled at no. It is for fans, and I think her songwriting's amazing. But you mean in terms of this particular concert?
Sure.
Yeah. Look, I mean, I just didn't find it as dazzlingly staged or impressive as our queen's
Beyonce.
or Madonna.
Or Madonna.
But in terms of what
Don't
she
need
has
to compare?
achieved culturally,
Oh, she's a fucking juggernaut.
it's unbelievable. I cannot believe it. I
When
didn't
you
even
have
know
Beyonce
that someone could
coming
be
to
this
the
big.
movies like it's a Westfield on a Friday night.
I know.
You're fucking powerful, mate.
Good for her.
How can you have this much cultural power?
She has all the power. I bow.
I didn't
kneel.
think we were going to see a musical icon that
Anytime
would
we
be.
talk about her on the podcast, it gets 2,000 more listens.
Does it?
Taylor Swift, Swifties, hashtag Swifties.
It's amazing. Also, I just want to credit. Weirdly, when I was thinking about it, I don't know that I can't remember someone who has laid out a concert quite like this, where it's literally like we're going to do album, and I loved it. It was ordered.
Yeah, it's ordered. And can I just say, thank God that this magnitude of power has gone to someone like Taylor and not someone like, I don't know, Joe Rogan. Do you know what I mean? He's still relatively powerful, but not... Thank God when the world did decide to bestow this enormous amount of...
I know.
It went to a good
To her.
person.
Exactly. She's
a
good.
woman, a feminist, a humanitarian. You know, like she looks after all her crew. I mean, sure, she flies her jet everywhere and it's not great
She
for the
does.
environment, but...
No, come on. She's a good person and very, very talented. And the miracle of keeping it together at that level of fame for that
Agreed.
long. One hilarious difference between her and our queens is I love Beyonce and Madonna stand in their power and almost at times like they do convey an attitude on stage of like,
I'm better than you.
I'm the bitch and I'm here and I'm the goddess and worship me. Whereas Taylor is still at this point doing like they clap and she's like, I'm sorry, just for me, you're still, oh my God, you've made me feel, it's dazzling. Like she still is acting surprised. And I wonder if at any point we're going to have to say, bitch, you have been the biggest, highest earning star in the universe for fucking 2 decades now. Is it really a surprise that they're clapping?
I feel like what we're going to have to do
Get me protection.
that we're going to have to release that chat as a separate podcast.
Sorry.
No, I love it. Are you joking? Don't apologise. All the Swifties will come.
Ah.
So good. What if you could grab Britney's new tell-all book, The Woman and Me, and whisk yourself away on holiday to devour its contents in peace? Well, you're actually only a what if away from building your ideal don't bother me, I'm reading holiday here on home soil. We all deserve a delightfully flimsy excuse to get away. And because What If have spent 23 years connecting us and exploring the country, they know Aussies best. Plus, What If is more than just hotels. Maybe you'd prefer reading all alone in a cabin somewhere or reclining in an inner city apartment. You can also book flights, car hire and things to do when the book gets too much. Oh, I mean, you know that Britney book is going to get a lot. You're going to need breaks. Plus, lots of hotels are fully refundable, so you can book with confidence now and worry about the logistics later. Booking cancellation windows apply. Do it for yourself. Book on the What If app now because you're only a what if away from the perfect holiday with What If. It's Aussie for travel. It's Emsolation Extra.
Haven't subscribed to Emsolation Extra yet? Here's what you've missed out on this week.
Enjoy our deep dive into the Newsreader Season 2 with show writer, creator, EP and runner, Michael Lucas. Speaking of Lindsay and William McInnes, this one's from Jodes. Did you write Little Chuck is fucked or did William McInnes improvise? So good, 5 stars.
There was a line, Little Chuck is fucked, but the idea to turn it into a song was William. And I loved it so much. And he said it to me on the day and he was a bit nervous about it, uncharacteristically, I feel, for him. I mean, William obviously is, he's sensitive like anyone. And when he presents an idea, he doesn't assume it's going to be a winner. And he was doing all these disclaimers, just tell me if this is fucked, if this is stupid, and then he sort of quietly said, I thought I could do a little song and dance. And as if I am ever going to say no to that, I said, just absolutely go for it. Tell Emma she will love it. And I watched him as he went over and told Emma and I saw her face light up. And then he just went for it. And I'm so glad he did. I mean, it's so funny.
Little Chuck is fucked. Little Chuck is fucked. Little Chuck is fucked. He's fucked. He's fucked.
He's an amazing performer and that was one of the highlights.
Oh, it was absolutely incredible.
For all of that and so much more, subscribe now at emsolation.supercast.com.
It's Emsolation Extra.
Em Russiano and Michael Lucas. This is Emsolation.
Hey, I want to talk about some age-appropriate sex because, woo! I tell ya, there's a little show called Morning Wars, okay?
Or The Morning Show if you live anywhere but Australia.
Is it? Chella and I, we were wondering why is
Yes,
it
because
called...
we have the Channel 7 show, I think it's Channel 7, that's called The Morning Show, so they had to change the title just for Australia.
Because Chella's like, it's the morning show, Mum. I go, no, it's Morning Wars. Look at the television. She's like, Mum, look online. And we had a whole argument about it, but it's both.
You're both right.
Right. This is a show starring Jennifer Aniston, Reese Witherspoon, and it's all about breakfast television. But basically, if you've ever worked in early morning entertainment, it's extremely traumatic to watch. Many people said to me, don't watch it, don't watch it, don't watch it. And so I didn't for ages and ages. And then I just decided, I got sucked in. I don't know why.
Oh, it's made for you, I think.
Yeah, and season 1 of Morning Wars / The Morning Show,
Great.
fucking 10 out of 10. My parents are halfway through it now. My dad called me and he's like, just reminds me of what they did to you. It's, like a real, and I'm like, oh, thanks, Vincie. It's not exactly the same, but so season 1, amazing. So then Chella and I decided to watch season 2. Season 2.
Wild.
Lost its way. It went into telenovela territory.
It did.
It's crazy. I also want to just briefly touch on, not in a judgy way, but in an observational artistic choice way,
Yeah.
the use of CGI filters
Yes.
on our 2 leads.
I know.
Because no one else is getting that. They must have the budget of fucking Avatar. They must, I don't even know if it's them. I don't even know if it's just 2 actors in green zoot suits, and they're just projecting. Their faces are so smooth. Sometimes it's just nostrils and eyes and beautiful hair.
Yes, all television images or film images that you see go through a process called a grading process.
Okay.
And so
And they've got the greatest set at wipe out all facial features. Smooth.
Well-
What do you want smooth, Jen? Yes.
just I mean, I can't speak to this particular situation.
Yeah.
And I just want to first and foremost say that I have not ever been on a show where a cast member has asked for that. In fact, I also want to take the opportunity to praise
100%. All
the
your leading
cast.
ladies look
Fantastic.
their
I know.
age, beautifully lit. Just
Yeah,
get the
but
lighting
also
right.
they're
There's no fear.
exactly
being who
and
they are.
Yeah, and they're not trying to look 20 years younger than they are or anything
Not
like
that
that.
we're saying this of Jen, because Jen looks incredible, and not that it matters, but I feel there is enormous pressure probably from networks and society in general for it to look a certain way if you're Jennifer Aniston.
Yes, and there are instances now where for certain roles an actor will put in their contract that they want.
Oh, her contract was entitled
That they want essentially, it's like face tuning.
CGI budget.
It's not dissimilar. The technology that they have
she's
is just
swiping the Paris filter across, doll. Just give me a Paris filter.
yeah, but also you can isolate. Like sometimes,
Oh, yeah, we can see that. Don't worry. Because when they flash onto someone who didn't have that in their contract, they look like they've got the fucking plague.
I know.
Some people look like, I'm like, oh, God,
One
have they
thing
got
that I
leprosy?
really, really notice is that clearly they have opted to really defocus under their eyes so that you don't see, like, I'm sure it'll be very clear on this image here that when I speak, I've got a lot of wrinkles right under my eyes. All of that is gone for Reese and it's biologically impossible for them not to be there at any age.
Yes.
But they're really, and it is quite stark because you'll see Reese delivering something, then it'll cut to the reverse shot of the other actor, and then that actor is
It's
just
like-
well, actually, they
It's
all
like the
look
thriller
fantastic.
film clip. You go to the thriller film clip. Basically, you're going from like Elizabeth Taylor, Vaseline lens to and it's really, really startling.
It is an ethically complicated situation. I do remember at once Rebel Wilson spoke out about Sandra Bullock's use of it. She's a noted
User
person
of,
that
yeah.
Yes, if you go and watch Ocean's 8,
Then it makes me sad because it's like, oh, but it's not their fault. They've got under this pressure. You know, like imagine being a 50-something actress in Hollywood that's been there since they were younger and looked a certain way and want to keep being employed. Like, part of me, I'm not criticizing it. I'm just,
no.
I want you to know, but it's, when you watch, it's startling. And it's also like, part of me is like,
Good for her.
she's been able to demand it in a contract. Like,
totally, I get it. I get it. I mean, I'm the same. I'm
Not judging.
I don't want to throw any shade or criticize, but
Absolutely not.
but I probably would want to celebrate.
I'd want to
those.
encourage them to drop the filter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, and also like speaking in my own experience, you know, Anna Torv is playing a character that has to be appearing on camera in the show, in the fictional show, and then off camera as well. And she is very determined that, you know, on camera, of course, her character gets made up and gets big hair and everything like that. But the show is about the chasm between on air and off air, and she absolutely wants to be photographed completely naturally, and which is sometimes uncomfortable for her, as it is for anyone, to see this huge 4K resolution image of yourself as you age and everything like that. But
I
she
think
does
the
it fearlessly.
Australian film and television industry are kinder to women aging than America is. I think Australian audiences and Australian productions, they often look like people look their age.
And British, I would say, as
Yeah,
well.
British too.
oftentimes.
Gritty
yeah,
British
Olivia
people.
Colman.
British teeth.
And,
Yeah.
yeah.
I love to see some natural British teeth.
Yeah.
It's rare. It's nice. So anyway, so that's what you'll notice when you watch it. So we get through season 2. Season 3 has started. Season 3 starts, they send Reese Witherspoon's character into space with no training.
It's a hell of a first storyline.
Full face of
And
makeup.
also with like no training, but also like 24 hours notice.
24 hours notice. Full
Like
face.
Jen Aniston can't go for some reason, so they said, "Can you be on a rocket?" And she's like, "I'm
Yeah.
on my way."
So all of these things aside, we're not going to bore you with any more synopsis-y stuff. What I want you to know is, for the love interest for Jennifer Aniston, we have John Hamm, Don Draper. The
Good get for the show.
Totally good. And I want to know, I want to believe that Jen just said, get
Get me Ham.
John, get Ham, get me Ham, I want Ham. Because it's fucking hot. Like, he plays a billionaire, like, kind of, I don't even know who they're basing him on. Who are they basing him on? It's not Elon.
Elong. Or is it?
Elon, or is it? Well,
if you look at some of the
Jen was
paparazzi
smiling.
shots,
Oh, yeah, if you Google John Hamm in grey tracksuit pants, you're welcome. Not that that's important.
no, it's not.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, who is he based on? Like he's
He's a tech billionaire.
Investor
But he's
in-
kind of hot. No, not even kind of hot, is. Anyway, all this has been a really fucking long lead up to they have sex. And I was sitting with Marcella watching it. And I know we don't feel weird watching sex scenes together. I don't know. Make of that. We've watched so many. We're desensitized. But we love, like, we break down the shots together. And I'm like, oh, look at that. Jen went, she took off all her clothes. She was topless, but it was fucking hot. And I said to Chella, why is this so hot? It's hot. And
I want to know that too.
See, because they're age appropriate. Because oftentimes I'm watching an older dude with a ridiculously hot younger woman, right? I don't think I can think about there was equal hotness, age appropriate. I believed it, but it's so rare to see two 50-year-olds going at it on telly. Of the, like, do you know what I mean? We're so conditioned to that younger, older kind of. It's
Totally.
rare. And that's why I think it was so hot. Because I wasn't questioning my ethics in the moment of feeling like a bit sweaty about it. And I just thought it was fucking, like, I've rewatched that 3 times.
Have you?
Just that bit.
I just should say, like before, it's not terrifically explicit. In fact, not at all. Like, you basically only see his shoulders.
It was enough.
You see a little bit more of her.
It was enough. It was enough.
It's also shot, I would say that one thing about the morning show, the look of it is, it's not a particularly cutting edge show in the way that it looks. And that sequence for me had echoes of, like, the love scenes in Top Gun. It seriously did. It was like blue light.
Why are you saying that like it's a bad thing?
No,
That's exactly. It
That's
was
exactly what it is.
It was that fucking scene. It was the scene from Top Gun when they ride on the bike together and they
That's
go
right.
back to
That's exactly what it was.
That was the blueprint for that scene. I also want to take it a step further and say Jennifer Aniston, John Hamm, have Taylor and Travis energy. That couple has the same
Both
energy.
powerful.
Equal-ish.
She's,
Same
right.
age.
She's like, I'm a powerful, confident woman, but sometimes I just want Hamm.
Yeah, and also Ham's powerful and confident on his own. A powerful, confident man wants a powerful, confident woman, which...
We don't need this, but we want it.
Correct. They're choosing it. So why didn't you think it was hot? You fucking heart like a swinging brick. If this is more heterophobia, I will not stand for it on this show. Is this what this is?
Hi, gay.
It was just...
Is this heterophobia?
To me, it just... No, it's not even that so much. It was just the treatment of it felt very...
Don't be snobby.
Yeah.
Think about it as a thirsty middle-aged woman watching it.
Okay. Yeah, maybe that's my problem. Look, it just felt very composed and very sort of... I know what you mean, but it just felt very carefully shot. Like very... Yeah, I know, of course. But actually the bit that got me, that really... surprised me, that I must admit I did burst out laughing, and it brought up an issue that I have in my marriage, which is it cuts to the next morning, right?
Right.
And so, like, we're panning up on the bed and you hear Jennifer Aniston going, oh, what a way to wake up. And so what is happening is they're both completely naked. He has slept on his stomach, head turned. She has slept completely naked, lying on his back. She slept the night like that.
$5. It's gonna even sleep in the same bed.
No. Well, this is what I
That
want to
is
bring
my
up.
worst nightmare.
Me
Scott tries
too.
to hug me in bed. I'm like, do not touch me.
I know. See, look,
Adrian is very
he would
huggy,
sleep.
cuddly,
He's very cuddly.
face to face like
and
this if he could.
He can fall asleep very easily, and he would absolutely
Lay
sleep
on top of
absolutely entwined, or he could, or have me lay on top of him like Jennifer Aniston did for John Hamm. But I don't understand how it's not a lack of love or anything or attraction or anything like that. It's just I'm not going to lose consciousness if I'm sleeping. It's just not going to happen. It happened once. You know when it happened? On our wedding night.
Oh, that's because you're out till 6 o'clock in the
Yeah, I
morning.
was smashed. Yeah.
For me to fall asleep, we've discussed the masks, the sheet, the pajamas,
Weighted blankets.
the
Humidifiers.
everything.
God knows what's going on.
By myself in a bed. Like,
yeah.
you want me to sleep on top of another human?
A moving, shifting.
Right.
All their organs doing things,
with
they're
nothing
twitching.
on you, with no lavender, with no eye mask, with no earplugs. What do you want? As if I know that was hard for me to imagine.
What would happen? I know. How
It's
did
a
she
new
do it?
relationship.
But it did make me think they wrote that. Are people sleeping like that?
No.
No one's sleeping
If this
like
was
that.
a breakfast radio show, we'd be like 13, 10, 60.
If he farted, it would just
Oh,
be...
it's terrible. Or just anything. Like things leak in the night. It's not sexy.
It's not sexy.
And,
she looked like she was very well rested when she woke up. But of course, every time she wakes up on that show, she's already in a full face of makeup. It's incredible and tuned. She's ready to go on air. She's ready. She's ready to sing Ain't Nobody.
It's just, it's a good callback. Good.
Hi, gang.
Anyway, I thought it was really super sexy. Can you believe I'm stalling because I am waiting for Britney's memoir to download? Let me check. I'm checking. I know. It's
Hang on. The audio?
the audio.
Oh, your journey begins.
Oh my God. I've refreshed on
Did you
Audible.
watch her audition for The Notebook, which is leaked online?
No, but I did listen to Michelle Williams say faux shizzle. Are you across this audio? Are you across it?
No.
Okay.
Does she lean into a southern accent?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
So some of the audio has leaked online, and there's a bit where Britney throws complete shade.
NSYNC was what people back then called so pimp. They were white boys, but they loved hip-hop. To me, that's what separated them from the Backstreet Boys, who seemed very consciously to position themselves as a white group. NSYNC hung out with black artists. Sometimes I thought they tried too hard to fit in. One day, Jay and I were in New York, going to parts of town I'd never been to before. Walking our way was a guy with a huge, blinged-out medallion. He was flanked by 2 giant security guards. Jay got all excited and said so loud, "Oh yeah, faux shiz, Genuine, what's up, homie?" After Genuine walked away, Felicia did an impression of Jay. "Oh yeah, faux shiz, Genuine." Jay wasn't even embarrassed. He just took it and looked at her like, "Okay, fuck you, Fee." That was the trip where he got his first necklace, a big T for Timberlake.
Fuck, if they gave out Oscars for audiobooks,
Mate.
I don't even know what word to ascribe it. I have respect for it though, and terror and discomfort. It's complicated.
Okay, so there'll be no Britney Spears this week. I'm so sorry. I'll do one last refresh of my Audible audiobooks. It's a 5-hour audiobook. Now her intro we found out was what, 85 seconds? Is that what we found out? So she does, Britney herself reads, and her voice sounds like Gaga. She's in, I just couldn't bring myself to read all the trauma, so.
Fair enough. What conditions are you going to take in the book? Are you going to, I see you on a driving. I thought driving.
Yeah.
You need to be in motion.
Yeah, no. 5 hours. It's 5 hours and 31 minutes.
Yeah.
And I will
It's a
have
long
finished
walk.
it by the time. I've been known
Drive
to
to Geelong and back.
No, we know where I live. Everywhere's an hour away, so I'll get it done quick. So that'll be next week. But there's a nice little tidbit of Michelle Williams earning her fucking dosh cash money.
Fucking hell. Hats off.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
This is Emsolation.
Okay, gang, we'll speak next. Hopefully I've got all the Britney Spears information. Have a wonderful weekend or week ahead. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Emsolation Podcast. Each week we post a lot of the videos from the show. So if you're wondering, what does Em's T-shirt look like? My Travis Kelce T-shirt. I've started watching Quarterback on Netflix. There is a documentary about all the quarterbacks, the good quarterbacks in the NFL. He is a tight end, but he's kind of quarterback adjacent. So I've even started watching that documentary, but I can't talk about it because Michael's not a sports guy. So I'm still right in. Don't you worry about that. And also, don't forget, there's a third show of the Taylor Swift tribute concert that I'm doing with Claire Bowditch, Kate Millahaki, a bunch of other people. Third show has been added. Tickets are still available, I think. It's happening last weekend of November. I will be doing tracks from 1989, just so you know. I am a hit whore. I'm going out there with the crowd pleasers. I'm not singing no obscure tracks from folklore. No, no ma'am, no sir, no kind they. I'll be doing the biggest hits. When you type Taylor Swift into Spotify, look at the top 3 songs. Mama's doing those. Okay, great. Have a lovely time until I next hear you or you next hear me, because I don't hear you. It's a one-way communication, which, let's be honest, suits me best. Okay, bye.
Like what you heard and want more? Emsolation is a totally independent, neurodivergent, female-led podcast, which you can help support by subscribing to Emsolation Extra. Get exclusive bonus episodes every Tuesday, question time with Em and Michael, pre-show meetings, videos of the podcast recording, pre-sale access to live events and discount merch, a weekly newsletter, and so much more. Help us by subscribing now or give gift a subscription to someone you love at emsolation.supercast.com or get the link via Emsolation socials. Emsolation with Em Rossiano is recorded at Down the Hill Studios, hosted by Em Rossiano with Michael Lucas, executive produced by Benjamin Wasley, produced by Em Rossiano, edited by Ezekiel Fenn, socials by Em Rossiano, Benjamin Wasley and Marcello Rossiano Barrow, with assistance from Jem Evans and Georgia Watts, with videos by James Henderson. Follow us on Instagram at Emsolation Podcast and join other Emsolators at the Emsolation group on Facebook. The answer is Harry Styles. Please take the time to share this podcast with a friend. Give us a 5-star rating and make sure you're following us on whatever podcast app you use by hitting the follow button. Thanks for listening, and we can't wait to chat with you again soon.